Hello there, everyone. Yes, you guys, I have my microphone again today. This time, however, I am going to keep it very calm and collect. Okay? I am not going to yell into this microphone because it actually does sound good when you're talking at a regular, when you're talking at a regular rate. If you're not really excited, yelling, screaming, then the sound doesn't get distorted, and I think you can appreciate the crisp or the more crisp sound, because I've never thought that I had a problem with my sound, but some of you guys would beg to differ. So here we are. I'm going to be very demure. I'm going to be very mindful. What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole a truck. It's like you could hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? Also, you guys, before we get started, I do know that I could clip this to my shirt. However, where's the fun in that? We need to have it here because sometimes you never know when you might be inspired to break out into a song. There's a meeting in my bedroom. Boom, boom, boom. Girl, please don't be late. Boom, boom. There's a meeting in my bedroom, 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 bedroom. Girl, please don't. All right, y'all, that's it. That's it. Y'all don't want none. That's all you get today. That's for my silk lovers out there. My friend Val loves silk, so. Oh, and also Miss Diva, like I know Kiki is also a silk fan, so that was for y'all, okay? Story up today, God, I feel like this top of the blogs could really be an update on the predators out there, because it's a lot of predatory shit going on out there in the world today. Who knew that this sexually exploitive industry of Hollywood was so prominent? Child, every time you turn around, there's something going on now. The newest story, right before I came out here, former Abercrombie&Fitch CEO Mike Jeffries, his partner Matt Smith, and another man by the name of Jim Jacobson. They were just arrested last Tuesday in connection to a criminal sex trafficking investigation that the feds have whipped up. I'm telling you, the feds have been very busy this year with this sex trafficking. They not playing with y'all. And obviously, I mean, what is it? Did they not know that this was happening in Hollywood? Child, the lid has been blown off. And every day now you starting to hear it's not just Puffy, even though Puffy is still the man of the hour, okay? But we got Garth Brooks, they talking about, not sex trafficking, but this whole idea of people in power in Hollywood, in music, taking advantage of folks, sexually assaulting them, sexually exploiting them, sexually trafficking them. I mean, it is a big deal. So in this case, these 3 gentlemen, they said they would sexually exploit young men at lavish parties all around the world. I mean, it's been happening for them all over, and it's finally caught up with them, it seems. So the way that the operation worked is because Mike Jeffries, he was brought into Abercrombie&Fitch trying to revamp the company. I guess they wanted to appeal to a younger audience, which he was successful in doing. They said that they would use that influence over young male inspiring models, aspiring models, to rope them in. They would tell them that if they entertain their sexual fantasies, I'm assuming, then they would in turn get them jobs modeling for Abercrombie&Fitch. So because he was the CEO, they said he was the mastermind. His partner, Matt, would line him up. And then the other guy, the Jacobson guy, they said that he was like a recruiter. So he would find the guys. And then the Matt guy would organized the parties and all. And then, of course, the CEO guy, he was the one who, well, all of them were in this whole ring. And yeah, the feds are saying that this is just the beginning of the abuse, that they have found that there is way more where it came from, and we'll be finding out more about it. Now, I know that recently, right when that Puffy stuff, when it really, the heat really turned up, when the feds finally announced their actual case, that was also around the time that we started hearing about a lot of CEOs stepping down. And while I don't know if it might have anything directly to do with Puffy, it seems like just the general climate of them cracking down on sex trafficking, and and people in high places taking advantage of these young folks, these people that want to be models, that want to be actors, that want to be singers, them taking advantage of it. It might have something to do with all those CEOs stepping down, because we had a large number of them step down all at the same time, and it was weird, right? I'm starting to wonder if it, I mean, not starting to, because even back then we did wonder if it had something to do with it. But yeah, it looks like the feds have opened up a new wing, and they super busy cracking down on all of these perverted and predatory old men, um, taking advantage of both men and women. So yeah, I saw that and I was just like, ooh-wee. That's why he was the former CEO. He had stepped down before. He's not the CEO of Abercrombie&Fitch right now. And I bet you it has something to do with it, because he stepped down in January of this year. So before we found out about all the Puffy stuff. But I have a feeling that some of them people knew that this stuff was coming down the pike, and people was trying to um get out ahead of it. So yeah, you guys, that's what's going on there with Abercrombie&Fitch. That's one of the stories on the predatory behavior of those out there. But I got even more, you guys. Since we talking about Puffy, we can talk about the 5 more cases that were filed against Puffy by that same lawyer, Tony, whatever his name is, Tony Burris or Tony Burgess or something like that. You guys know who I'm talking about, the 1-800 lawyer that's handling the 120, well, it looks like it's somewhere around 130 cases now. Of those 5 cases, one that stood out was allegedly a 13-year-old child at the time, saying that they were sexually assaulted by Puffy, and 2 celebrities watched, a male and a female, or a woman celebrity also watched and did not intervene. Okay, again, we haven't had any names released other than other than Puffy. They're just always saying celebrities, well-known, high places, that kind of thing. And I really want people to start saying what these other names are. I mean, if you are going to say the lawsuit, let's hear the whole thing. I'm tired of hearing, why are they protecting certain one part of the group, but not necessarily everybody? So if you're going to say it, please just say it all. So we got 5 new cases. One, a 13-year-old child. I think they said that the child had snuck into the MTV Awards or something like that, and snuck into like an after party, or was brought in, and maybe they didn't realize that this child was 13. Although if you 13 years old, I'm imagining you look 13. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to say that we're going to wait and see. We're going to take the wait and see approach to it all. And when those cases start getting into court, and if they stand, if they're not thrown out, because I have a feeling some of those cases are going to get thrown out. But for the ones that haven't been thrown out, we will definitely see what Puffy did, what he was capable of, and what the punishment for that will be, if he is found guilty. So, yeah. Quincy did post a picture of the family, and his comment was that, the last month has been very devastating for their family, and that there's been all these conspiracy theories and flat out lies about his father. I do quotation marks because we know that that's not really Quincy's father, but Quincy is speaking out and saying that it ain't cool, and they're going to support their father 100%, which they should. I mean, that's their family, so I mean, that's fine. What I will say to him though is, yeah, he gonna need y'all support, because Puffy ain't getting out of jail, child. Puffy will not get out of jail. I don't see them letting him go. Puffy is definitely gonna be found guilty on some things. Okay. So there's that. But yeah, that's it on Puffy. 5 more cases. So we right at about 130 from that Tony guy, but I think he also had like 8 cases before the Tony guy came about. So, Puffy around 150 cases. 150 cases, man. His lawyers got to be the busiest people out there. When it's all said and done, ain't gonna be no money left. I feel so sorry for them kids, them kids who were guaranteed pretty much a life of opulence and comfort. Now their father is going to be using up all his money to pay for all of his defenses and stuff. So it's going to be it's tough for the family, child. Puffy did it to him, so there is that. Also, while we're talking about predators, we can also talk about Harvey Weinstein. I found out this morning that Harvey Weinstein has been diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia. I think it's called chronic myeloid leukemia. And it is a rare form of bone marrow cancer. Not surprising. Like, I felt like the last few times that we've seen Harvey Weinstein, he hasn't looked good. I mean, he didn't even look good when he was in court. When they were going through the case, through the lawsuit, he didn't look good. And now they're saying that he's had a number of health problems since he's been in jail. They said that he had double pneumonia in COVID, when COVID was running rampant. They also said that he had been diagnosed with, I think, congestive heart failure. Was that what it was? No, not diagnosed with congestive heart failure, but he had all this fluid that had built up on his heart and his lungs. I guess that's like heading towards congestive heart failure. So he had to have like emergency surgery last year to correct that issue. So the man ain't been looking good. I mean, like I said, he didn't look good even when he was in court. So health going downhill ever since, and now he has cancer. They said that he's getting chemotherapy in Rikers Island, which is where he is serving his sentence. That's what's going on with Harvey. Oh, it's bad times for the predators out there, right? Well, ain't looking too good for none of them. And cancer is tough. I can't imagine fighting cancer and also being in Rikers Island, which is one of the worst jails, prisons, out there. So yeah, I'm sure he's having a time over there. But anyway, that's the update on all the predators that's going on right now, all the lawsuits that's going on. Like I said, the feds are busy. The feds have a job ahead of them, child, and they are doing it. Working overtime, I'm sure. Okay, let's move on to the next story. All right, you guys, you'll be happy to hear that Jaylen Green, who is Drea's tenderoni over there. Remember the young man, 23 years old? We all had a lot to say about the fact that she, as a woman that was about to be 39, 40 years old, was in a relationship with this young guy. At first, they were trying to act like it wasn't really happening, but she was showing up at his games a lot, and then she turned up pregnant, and people assumed that, this is the man that she had been seeing, the young man that she had been seeing. So, people put 2 and 2 together and figured out that she probably was pregnant by him, which she was. And now they have a child together. And yeah, people put Drea through it. And, she said that this is her real life and it's not cool that people have a lot to say. And, it's not cool when people have a lot to say about your life. But, you are a public figure. Your business is out there. You're on social media and all that. People are going to comment. But I'm sure it got tough for her. However, it didn't get that tough, obviously, because, honey, Drea stuck it on out. And now we know why. They say that Jaylen Green got a 3-year, $106 million contract extension with the Houston Rockets. Okay. The deal also includes a player option in the third season. He's the first rookie to negotiate a 2+1 rookie extension on a 9-figure deal successfully. So I guess other people have tried to do it and it didn't work, but it worked for Jaylen Green. And honey, that damn Drea was like, motherfucking jackpot, bitch. I am never leaving. Honey, he gonna have to kick her out. That's why Drea is so good with the fact that he got all these other baby mamas and everything. He can afford it. He can afford it. And as long as she's the HBIC, Charlie, I guess Drea said that shit worked out exactly the way she planned for it too. So I mean, you can't be mad. I mean, he seems to really like her. He like, she likes him at least enough to be there. While he is around the same age as her oldest child, maybe he's more mature and maybe. I mean, I'm sure he looks a whole lot better with $109 million contract extension in his pocket. And she talked about, she posted on her Instagram how, she pretty much was proud of him. She didn't say it in those words, but she was just, big up in her man. And I mean, it is what it is. They're a family now. He's got all this money. She has a baby by him. They seem to be happy. So listen, if they like it, I love it. But Drea was just like, bitch, you must be crazy if you think I'm gonna let y'all, this little bit of y'all talking about me, calling me a cradle robber and all of that shit'll die down after a few weeks. But this 109 million is fixing to last a fucking lifetime. So yeah, y'all say what you say while you over there struggling with your bills and don't have enough money to feed your folks. Drea said, honey, she ain't got them kind of problems. That's just not my problem. Not my problem. That's just not. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I was getting a little excited. I had to bring it back down. But yeah, honey, $109 million. There was definitely a method to her madness, right? Congratulations to the family. At least we know that the baby will be taken care of. All right, next story. Yesterday, we found out on social media that Brett Leakes, which is the youngest son of NeNe's, and remember NeNe and Greg NeNe had 2 kids, but NeNe and Greg had just the one together, which was Brett Leakes. We had found out that he had a stroke, I think it was, heart attack, somewhere in there. I'm sorry I didn't get that information, but right when Greg had died, we found out shortly after that Brett had a stroke or a heart attack and had ended up in the hospital and was in the hospital and it was doing really bad. And actually we thought that he was going to die. We didn't know while it was going on. We found out everything once he came out on the other end. That's when NeNe let us know, I think when they knew he was going to recover okay. But at that time we had found out, that he had to relearn how to walk and to talk and, how to do things because, I think it was a stroke. Because it was such a debilitating, it was a bad stroke. And you guys remember Brett was young. Like Brett I don't even think he's not even 30. He's not 30. He's probably in his mid-20s now. That was alarming to know that somebody so young was having those kind of health issues. Well, now we found out that he just recently got a new heart. Okay. He said that a family had donated a heart to him, that he had been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. That might be why I was talking about congestive heart failure earlier. But he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and his heart was no longer working, functioning at a healthy percentage, obviously. And so they had him on the list, and you guys, his name came up, and he got a heart. And I was really shocked to read that. First of all, I'm happy for him because, when you have a family member, when you have your loved ones or whatever, and they need an organ and that their life depends on it, I'm sure it's quite stressful. And, you are just praying and hoping that a match will come up and that you can receive the organ. Okay. But it was just interesting that he got an organ so quickly because I also follow on Instagram. I don't know if you guys know about this girl, but she's in the planner community. This is where I, initially found her. But her Instagram page is called This Well Planned Life. It's either This Well-Planned Life or My Well-Planned Life. I think it's This Well-Planned Life. And she is a Jamaican American girl who lives in New York with her family, husband, and her kids. And she recently had a heart transplant. And I was following her before I even knew that she was sick. Okay, but she, because she's funny, and she's also has like, she also does planner videos. She used to. She doesn't really do them much anymore. But her Instagram page has always been really nice, and she has a nice home and a nice office and all this stuff. And I've always liked watching her, and she's funny. But then once I realized that she was sick and that it was really serious, like she never really made us know how serious her illness was, until we started to find out that she actually was on the list to get a new heart herself. Okay. And, we didn't know it at the time, but originally she had a heart. They had told her that she was going to get this heart, and then she ended up posting on her Instagram that the heart that she was supposed to receive, she actually posted a video. I think they were helicoptering the heart into the facility, the hospital facility for the surgery, and when they got off of the helicopter, the doctor ended up dropping the box that had the heart in it. And I think the heart even tumbled out. So she was not able to use that heart. Okay. And like I said, I think, and it was such a tragedy. I felt so bad for her because like you are literally looking at your life, and it spilled out of the box on top. I mean, just like the worst luck ever, but she had been waiting on that heart, and then she had to wait even longer to get another heart. She ended up getting a heart, and she just recently, I think it's been maybe somewhere around almost 4 months now that she's had this new heart. But I know that she was in line, or she was waiting a long time, so it was interesting that I don't know the timeline when Brett got sick, but I know it was around the time right after Greg passed, because I remember NeNe had ended up selling the lounge, and she was saying that Brett was the one that really wanted the lounge, and Brett was having health issues and he wasn't able to run it. And so it was just sort of like, the real rock star doctors out there. Am I tripping, or did he receive that heart quickly? I know some people were saying, well, when you have a lot of money, you can pay for these things. But I'm like, I don't know. Are people able to just pay for organs or pay to get jumped up on the list? I know we see things like that happening on TV shows and everything, but in reality, are they able to do something like that? I mean, I know money always talks, but just curious about that whole thing. But at the end of the day, it is a great thing that this young man did get a new heart, and he says that, he's now trying to relearn a lot of things, because apparently the recovery on getting a new heart is very extensive and very, very difficult. And of course, you still run the risk of maybe possibly rejecting the heart and doing all those things. So it takes a toll on your body, because I've been watching This Well-Planned Life, and you can see the changes that she's been going through. I really admire her, though. I really love her story, because it could have just turned out so differently. And I had already taken a liking to her as of just on Instagram before I knew about all of these other things that she was facing. And it's just been really nice to see her, recovering and getting stronger and all that. So I hope the same for Brett. But yeah, you guys will have to, just let me know what you know about that whole donors list when it comes to organs and all. I mean, are you able to pay for it? That seems like that wouldn't be fair, but life is not always fair. With all that being said, congratulations to NeNe and her son, and hopefully, that he will recover and come out strong and be able to live with that heart for a long time. Okay, next story. I wasn't going to do a politics segment. This is not really a politics segment. I just wanted to let you guys know that I did vote yesterday over at Welcome All Park in Atlanta. And I was there with all the old people. I was just like, child, if I was able to get retired, I would be hanging out with all the Silver Fox crew out there, honey. Them old folks was up in that place yesterday. So I was really happy that I was able to get that done. when Jada comes back down, back out here, I'm going to drag her to the polls to make sure she doesn't miss it, because I don't know if she'll be here for election day. But what I wanted to talk to you about was WhatsApp, of course. The latest issue that we have with WhatsApp is the fact that he has been speaking on the Central Park Five, or better known now as the Exonerated Five, which were the 5 young men who are now full-grown men, adults, but at the time when they were like 13, 14 years old, they were accused of killing this woman who was a jogger, a Central Park jogger. Okay. And we all know the story. They hadn't done it. The prosecution had just pretty much railroaded the kids into giving these false, admitting falsely to the crimes because they had scared them, and that they were exhausted and all of this, and they just built this whole story that was not true around these 5 kids, and these kids ended up being in jail for many, many years. Okay, unrightfully so. They were all innocent. They had not killed anybody. Everyone knows that. There's been a movie made about it and everything. To this day, I haven't been able to watch that movie. I just could not watch it. It was too triggering. Like, it was like watching it, I was just like, oh my God, I could not get through. Like, after 30 minutes, I was like, that's it. But anyway, now they're called the Exonerated Five because we know that they did not do what they were prosecuted for. And they're all out of jail, and they're all living their lives, and they're all pretty successful in their own right. Okay. But because WhatsApp has been on this campaign trail, he's been bringing up the Central Park, or the Exonerated Five, and he is still speaking on them as if they were the ones who killed this woman. Okay. When we all know that they didn't. And we know that Donald Trump has a sordid past with the Central Park Exonerated Five. Let me just keep saying Exonerated Five. We know that he has a past with them because he's the one that took out that full page ad in the New York Times back when it happened, calling for them all to be put to death. Okay. So they have a special hatred probably for WhatsApp. And now the fact that they have to keep hearing him talk about it on this campaign trail, they have decided to file a lawsuit for defamation against WhatsApp. So we're going to add this lawsuit to all of the other lawsuits that are against WhatsApp right now. And this one deservedly so, because why you keep talking on these men as if they were the murderers when you know good and damn well that they weren't? Okay, you are still completely spreading a falsehood, which is what WhatsApp does. Like, everything he does is a fucking lie. Y'all don't get me started. Child, don't get me started. I'll never understand. I will never understand why people believe anything that come out that man's mouth. Okay. But yeah, the young men who are grown men now are saying, like, you keep on talking if you want to, but we are definitely filing a lawsuit. They're suing him. And I hope they can get as much as whatever they can out of that man that they can. Okay, because this is fucking ridiculous. Have you guys voted? Because as of today, which is Tuesday, even though you guys won't get this video till Wednesday, but as of today, Tuesday, we have exactly 2 weeks left to election day. Okay. And I done already did my part. Like, I'm not going to stress out about it. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. Okay. I'm not going to have my nerves bad like I was. I'm not going to be watching news all day on election day and all that. I'm going to let it be because I done turned it on over to the good Lord Jesus, and he is the one that's going to have to decide it for us. Okay. I'm going to pray that the good Lord will not let us down. I still feel like Kamala Harris is going to be the one that wins. However, I know that it's going to be one of those harrowing victories. It's going to be one of those super close races. It's going to be some of these swing states that we don't know. Georgia's going to be drama, so I know that kind of stuff is going to happen. But I'm not going to be a part of it. So I'm just going to keep telling you guys to make sure that you get out and vote. Okay. All right. Next story. Lastly, you guys, this is just a couple of things that I peeped, okay? I peeped that they said that One Direction member who just recently passed, Liam Payne, remember I was telling you guys last week that he fell from his balcony. We're not sure if he fell or if he jumped, because we know he was having an episode They were worried about him because he was so erratic in the lobby at the hotel. They put him in his room. However, they knew that he had a balcony in there, so they were concerned about that. So that's why they had the police come down there, but it was too late. He ended up falling three flights, or 3 stories, I should say, to his death. Now they're saying that they were able to see through like the initial autopsy results that he had pink cocaine in his system. From what I understand, pink cocaine is ecstasy and meth mixed in with cocaine. I was like, that shit sound like pink crack to me. Pink cocaine just seems like a nicer name, but anytime you putting some meth and shit in there, that don't cocaine is like a pure, is a pure drug, and now you got all this other chemicals and shit. Yeah, that shit sound like pink crack to me, but I mean, I guess. But anyway, they're saying that he was definitely high, which wasn't surprising because they said that he was having that episode. I also peeped that Big Tigger, mama named him Darian Morgan. They say that he's having a baby. Okay, he posted on his Instagram. We don't know who the mama is, because you guys know the people don't like to tell us who the mama is these days. Okay, they don't marry him or nothing, child. It's just you just having babies. Look, I done stepped over into I ain't saying everybody need to get married. Okay, I mean, of course, that is what I want. I would want for people to be married that they're having a baby with, but it don't work that way. I even know that my damn kids probably end up having kids before they get married. I just see Jada at least being that one, but Lord, please, I hope not. Okay. I want my child to have a family unit. I want her to have the support of a husband. Anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with none of this. Okay. Big Tigger and whoever this woman is, they having a new baby, or they having his first baby. Okay. As a matter of fact, that's what he posted on Instagram. Okay. So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. There's nothing more precious than to raise a family. So he posted a video of him. It's the back of him, and then we see a woman's arms come around his sides, and she's just holding some baby, like little white baby tennis shoes, real cute. And then there's another picture where they're holding hands, and they have the little baby's tennis shoe in their hand and everything. We can tell that, at least from what we can see, the girl is black. Okay, so I mean, that's all I can give you. She's a black woman, it looks like, and he's having a baby with her. So good for Tigger, because I know Tigger got to be somewhere around my age, and it's never too late, especially if you've never had. It's one thing. First of all, to me it's too late, but when you haven't had kids, it's different. When you haven't had kids, and you get to a certain age and you realize you still really want kids, and then hey, go out there and have your kids. Go on out there and have your kids. So it's a blessing for them. So congratulations to them, him and his infanticipating, baby mama, because I don't even know if they really are together. That's terrible to say, huh? But baby mama is not bad. That's what she is. She's his child's mother. Okay, how's that? Is that better? All right. And lastly, you guys, let me tell you what else I peeped. So yesterday I was scrolling on Instagram, and I came across Joe Biden's page, and I saw that he said that they had just approved another round of student loan forgiveness because the courts had it held up. There were a number of applications that were on hold until they figured out what the Supreme Court was going to say about it. Well, apparently the Supreme Court had opened it up again, and this has happened periodically over the last year. They'll open up the forgiveness and then they lock it back down because somebody then filed a lawsuit somewhere, and then they go to court, and then they open it back up, and then they shut it back down because somebody else then filed something else. And so that's been the cycle, right? Okay, so yesterday, like I said, scrolling Monday morning, and I saw that he said that, and so something told me, Roxanne, just go look at your account and see. I check my account all the time with FAFSA, and it still had the very, very large and overwhelming amount, the balance that was there, so, but I do check periodically because I am really praying that I get this loan forgiveness. So yesterday I logged on to my account, and guess the fuck what? I don't want to scream. I don't want to scream, you guys. I'm gonna keep this real calm. They forgave my loan. Bitch. Bitch, they forgave my motherfucking. I couldn't tell you guys before because I was so embarrassed of how high it was. 130 fucking it was $160,000. They forgave $132,000. And I still owe for a Parent Plus loan, which I am still trying to see if I can get that forgiven too, because some people say that you can and other people say that you can't. So we gonna thoroughly go through that. But what I'm saying here is the main part, my student loans had grown to $130,000. I didn't borrow that much, but of course interest, and also I never had really paid much on my student loan for the first like 5 years that I had the loan because I wasn't making any money. Okay, so I was in the income driven repayment plan, and even though I wasn't paying anything, they were still counting those zero payments as a payment because I was in the program. Okay, and thank God I was, because that was what counted. See, the program that I got my student loan forgiveness on is the public service student loan forgiveness, which means that you had to have worked for the government, or you have to work in public service, which I do, and you have to have made 120 qualifying payments. That was the part that was scaring me because, like I said, for about 5 years I was at zero, or maybe like $15, $20, and then it jumped up after about 5 years to $100. Okay, like $125 payments. And then when COVID happened, and I started making all that money with YouTube, my payments jumped up to $800 and something, $883. I couldn't qualify for the income driven payment program anymore because I was making too much. The income driven was actually making my payment higher. So I just was on a regular standard repayment anyway. Long story short, who wants to be paying that fucking kind of money? I mean, that is a lot of fucking money a month, right? Thank God during the pandemic they stopped it and told us that we didn't have to pay for a while. So then that was a good break. But then when they started telling us that we had to make the payments again, then I was back at my $883 payment, and that is a whole bunch of fucking money. And I was just like, and when the guy at my job started telling me that he was filing, trying to get his forgiven, and then he finally got his forgiven, I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm doing this because this is the best time. While people are trying to get elected, this is the best time to do this. And so I was like, let me put this in. So I put my application in back in March, and it went through all these changes. It has to go to your employer for them to sign. And, my employer wasn't signing it. The HR department, they hadn't signed it. I had to go there manually and make sure that I had the person's signature and upload it myself, and, keep on checking with FAFSA to make sure that they had it, because there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people that one person you talk to will tell you one thing and another person will tell you another thing. So you have to stay on top of it. Okay. Otherwise you'll get thrown by the wayside. But I was staying on top of it because that was a lot of fucking money. And that was one of the reasons that was holding me up for my retirement, because I was just like, if I know that I'm going to always have this student loan payment that I got to take care of, I need to make sure that my retirement money is right. This is like a story time at the end of this, you guys. I know this ain't what y'all came here for, but I just wanted to tell you guys, for anybody else out there who is thinking about trying to get it done, I mean, I'm telling you, you need to put your application if you can. If you don't have public service, then there are many other programs that they have that will forgive. And actually, this public service loan forgiveness was a program that was in place before Biden even came about. Okay, I've been knowing about this for a long time. I just never really looked into it until people that I worked with started doing it. And like I said, because of an election year and people need the votes and the support and everything, I felt like they were doing all that they can to approve those loans. And you guys, your girl got $132 fucking $1,000. worth of student loans completely wiped away. I can't tell you how much yesterday morning when I woke up, when I looked at that, it felt like a weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. I mean, the feeling that I got is just unbelievable. Mister's calling me, but he gonna have to wait. Hold on. Hello. Huh? These kids be stressing Mister out because Mister be telling them they need to get this, that, and the other, and they don't be wanting to spend the money, and he be like, they got the money and they don't want to spend it. They cheap. I was like, I don't know why you worrying about them kids. Them kids is out the house and we ain't got to worry about them. I don't worry about nothing. Mister be cooking food for the kids, cooking food for Joe. Joe don't come get it. And he be like, I got all this food here. I done cooked for them and cooked for Joe, and he won't even come pick it up. And I'm just like, that's why I wouldn't be cooking for Joe. Joe can go get his own fucking food. I'm not going to be buying all this food to be cooking for it to go to waste because he don't come get it. But Mr. B, child, they be worrying Mr. Nerves. Anyway, y'all, but getting back to it. Yeah, the weight was tremendous that was off my shoulders. It wasn't like an immediate like, oh, okay, now I got some extra money. It was just knowing that long term for the rest of my life, I ain't got to be looking at that because $130,000, first of all, it was just going to continue to grow. Secondly, I don't want to pay that. I was never going to be able to pay that off, unless I come into a lump sum of money. And then even if I do come into a lump sum of money, who wants to be spending all their goddamn money on a fucking school loan, 100, that started off at 85,000 and now it's up to 130,000, so. But you guys, I was so excited. I want to scream so bad. I screamed yesterday though. You best believe I did scream, and I had to call my friends and tell them, what had happened, and text them and let them know what happened. I was just so happy. So this is your sign. If you haven't done your student loan forgiveness application, you need to get that shit done because it is happening out there, honey. Kamala, she got my vote. I mean, she had my vote anyway, but she really got it now. Yeah, y'all look into it. It's real. It's a real thing. All right, you guys, that's it. I'm gonna get on off of here, get into get me some food from Panda, and then I'm at Michael's. I'm gonna pick up my picture. They finally finished framing it, so I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll show you guys on Instagram on my stories when I get it back on my wall. All right. So we do this every single week. So make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you come back. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.